2019 Road Glide Special. Vivid black, 114 cubic inches, all black everywhere as a matter of fact. It's so stock though. I wonder what we could do to, I don't know, mix it up a little bit. How about some new handlebars? Today we're going to talk about the Kraus handlebars and Speedo relocation kit. So I think it's pretty cool. We'll do a ride and all that stuff too, but we should probably start at the beginning. I guess I should probably tell y'all how this video came about, because some of you, if you watch Matt Laidlaw, might have seen that he installed this exact same setup on a bike at his dealership out in LA. If you don't know what I'm talking about because you don't watch Matt Laidlaw, then you should probably start, because it's a really good channel. Anyway, he did a ride on his. My sales guy he's not here yet because it's early in the morning, but he's a big fan. He watched it. He immediately brought his phone down. He's all like, oh, look at this Kraus T-bar setup, yada yada. So now we're here where we ordered the exact same setup and we're gonna put it on a bike and I'm gonna make a video about it. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is John Maxwell. I'm a highly trained unprofessional right here at Chattahoochee Harley Davidson, and on this channel I bring you guys to work with me. So if you want to learn more about Harley Davidson, you should hit the subscribe button right now. Go. Is there any more coffee? Do we drink it all? Half a pot. There's not a half pot of coffee anymore. I don't know what I'm doing at this point. I have exactly 0 instructions. It only came with this piece of paper that says that there's 1 year worth of warranty. And they're located on 39 Maxwell Court in Santa Rosa, California. Maxwell Court. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so basically my trouble is going to be that the original Speedo housing, which is eliminated with this kit, that Speedo housing gets deleted, the ignition switch gets deleted, which is all fine and dandy, except that there's a lot of electrical in there. There was some hydraulic lines hidden in there, so I gotta figure out where to put all that stuff. I'm gonna have to extend some electrical to some degree, but I don't know how exactly yet. And yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. I mentioned deleting the ignition. I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but on BCM models, you know, the newer bikes with the fancy computer stuff, one benefit to them is that you can actually use the shop computer to go keyless. The way you do it is hooked to the computer, select keyless and unplug the ignition switch, and it'll remain keyless until you plug in an ignition switch again. So unfortunately, if he's losing his ignition switch, which by the way, I don't think I've even mentioned, this isn't a person's bike. This bike is for sale. It'll obviously already be on the floor by the time you're seeing this video. The future owner of this bike will not have a fork lock anymore because the ignition is gone and the fork lock is within this piece. See, it pushes this little
It's like a doggy.
Yeah, well, there's a place in the frame to lock the torpedo, if you will, because when it's all separated, it looks like a torpedo. More like a torpedo and less like a red rocket. But anyway, you it falls in a little hole and prevents the forks from moving and all that stuff, so this bike won't have a fork lock. Yeah. So as it's getting later in the day and I've had more coffee, I realized that I probably don't actually even have to change the hydraulic lines on this bike because these bars aren't going to be really any taller than stock. So bleeding those lines and doing all that work was kind of dumb. There are better ways to start your day than being confused and doing unnecessary work. Internally wiring these bars is pretty freaking easy though. I need some grips. Let's go pick out some grips. Danny, the sales guy that put me up to all this crap, he's sick, so you don't want to be on camera. I get asked a lot about which grips I like. Will this thing focus? Get a grip is my favorite grip. It's what I run on my bikes. That's what we're going with. I had to go over there and get the okay from Danny. That's who put me up to all this stuff, Danny. So when you guys hit me up about sales department questions and stuff, that's the guy's email that I give you, or the phone number or whatever. Anybody that's ever talked to him, say, hey, Danny.
That's how you don't do it, folks.
So I'm not 100% sure, but pretty sure that if you don't put the risers on this clamp first, then you're not going to really be able to do it very easily. We'll know in a minute if I'm right. I need an adult. I just got to pull these handlebars and risers off. I don't want to drop anything, make a big mess. So you're in charge of not dropping the handlebars. This is blue Loctite and a stick. I'll link some in the description. It's very helpful in times like this. So a pretty common question in my emails and messages and all those places that people try to reach me at that sometimes I have time to respond to is what you need when you do handlebars. I don't know. Every set is a little different and there's so many different variations that I've done that I can't possibly remember each one and the part numbers and this and that. But part of why handlebars cost so much, or why you may or may not want to do it at home depending on your time frame, is well, sometimes you got to mock it up, figure it out, and measure things and take it back apart to make it look better, which is what's happening right now. I got to figure out all this electrical, tuck it, and see if I need them to be longer or shorter or what, because they're no longer going to be housed inside that speedo housing like I mentioned earlier. Now I'm going to try to get them into the frame and pull them forward into the fairing, since there's some space to hide things there. Matter of fact, while I have the fairing off, I might put a hidden antenna in there. I really like spending other people's money. I gotta put these hydraulic lines back on. I guess normally I don't actually separate it from the master cylinders, but there was a lot of figuring on this one, so I didn't want to damage anything Takes a little longer to take it completely off, bleed the system and all that, but it's a lot better than damaging a part, having to buy the part, and still having to bleed all the lines because you're replacing the master cylinder because you scratched it. Not that that's ever happened to me before though. Now that you've seen the bars, do you like them? What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. We still have to ride it, but I know T-bars are kind of, you know, everybody's kind of on the fence. Do I like them? Do I not like them? Well, if you don't like them, we'll just put it back stock then. I'm just kidding. This was the beginning. I have a serious face shield fogging up problem. We are not seeing the same thing right now. I'll tell you that. Because I'm not seeing anything, ladies and gentlemen. Mostly gentlemen, not too many ladies watch the channel. If you're a lady watching this video, throw a hello down in the comment section. So let me start by saying that I wish the install was as easy as shaking the camera, because it is not. It's an absolute pain in the pooper. Yeah, I said in the pooper. Also, I left my gloves at home today like an idiot, so I don't have any. Since it's a new bike, we actually just PDI'd it, pre-delivery inspection. I gotta put gas in this thing. That's close. I mean, it's not, you probably can't tell, it's that close, a finger width.
Wax nose jobs are sweeping the internet as the latest bizarre beauty trend.
What the hell? Keyless. So what I do like about the setup, I like the radio and the speedometer being so close together. For those of you that have been here before, you know that I used to ride a Sportster, converted to the Sportster 72 style setup with a speedometer like above the handlebars. Really like not having to look down at the tank like on my new Heritage or Road Kings, or, you know, lots of models have a speedometer right here. It sucks to look down that far. I can just, without moving my head, glance down, see the speedometer, see the road, see my radio that I can barely reach on the Road Glide anyway. Haven't done a review of the Road Glide this model year. This probably won't take the place of it necessarily, but I do have some information to put out about it. I already mentioned it's the 114. Downside of the Road Glide is how far away that radio is. It does make it feel closer though, now that I have this level of stuff happening. A good set of narrow bars, really. I don't know what kind of handling it gives you exactly. I don't know how to describe it other than just like, I like it. You have kind of tighter control over. Man, I don't want to be behind this guy. I wanted to go fast. Set my cruise so I can set my mirrors, because I never remember to do that. This bike just wants to go now. 114, some aggressive position. I am sitting very upright. I'm 5'11", counter steering with my arms at this level. Very, very good. You know, really easy to control things. Even up to my shoulder, like with, you know, would be fine. I think, whoa, I think these are 10-inch. I just rewatched Matt's video for a few seconds to make sure that I was pronouncing Kraus correctly. His were 10 inches. I think my salesman, when he ordered the parts, I think he totally copied everything that Matt had done. Overall though, this bike being for sale, there's some more stuff I would do to kind of carry on the club style, a 2-into-1 pipe. I'd actually probably get rid of the stretch bags and go like a standard length saddlebag. We did put a hidden antenna on this model. I think I already told y'all that. This
this is a lot of information that I have. I don't know what's gonna make the final video, but I got a ton of it. It's everywhere. The downsides to this bike are definitely that right there. That lack of beauty cover. All down in there is exposed now. I'm not sure. I like the bare bones look on some bikes. Obviously, I rode a Sportster for a long time. That's like king of this bike needs a lot more to be complete. I don't even know if that makes sense. But, you know, no bags, no windshield, no, you know, just the bare essentials needed kind of models. I like that kind of custom work, which this setup is very custom looking. Obviously, I think that's one thing I do like about it, is that you don't see this often. Man, 114 wants to give me a ticket. Y'all don't tell the boss. With the custom look, the lack of beauty cover, you know, the stock version has a speedometer housing with all that electrical in there, so everything's all ponied up all nice and neat. You know, you can't see it. Well, a lot of my time and kind of frustration in installing these was figuring out what to do with all of that, which you likely saw most of it already. I pretty much ran the camera through the entire install and kind of put in information as I wanted to. The riser fitment with the top clamp of the triple tree, it was very much a pain. It took a lot of maneuvering and tightening little by little. I think because it's a plate with a bushing on it, it had to fit in there, so it had to go in perfectly even. I couldn't just tighten one side down. I thought about it though, kind of cooled off from the frustrations of install. I actually realized it is likely the fault of the Harley Davidson that it was that way. I think this billet aluminum, this riser probably weighs like 7 pounds. It's part of its expensive cost. I don't know what its cost is. It is linked in the description, of course. Oh man, this riding stance is awesome. I really like it. I really like it a lot. So all this heavy billet aluminum on the CNC machine parts are better than this likely cast. It feels like cast, then a hole drilled through it, which means a drill bit kind of very slightly changes its size as it's drilling hundreds and hundreds of thousands of holes for the rubber bushings to go into stock. Well, now this machined metal bushing has trouble sliding in. What was it I said a couple weeks ago?
So, you know, just try harder if it doesn't go in.
Yep, that's what I did. Tried harder until it all went together. Overall, the quality of parts is outstanding. I enjoy, especially on a black road glide. I know the black street glide is technically the Me Too bike, but I'd have a hard time deciding to go from, you know, to pick between the street glide and road glide. They both have benefits and cons. I should probably do a video on that. So without going too deep into that though, the vivid black, therefore the less expensive of the road glide specials, I think we're already starting to see a lot more of those. We're only going to start seeing more and more as the years go on, and the, you know, and people find their way to the road glide. Anything that's this different, that's borderline, you know, make people think that it's ugly and they'd never put that on their bike, good. It means it's unique. It means when you walk into the shop and you say, yeah, I'm the black road glide out there, we don't have to say which black road glide. I think the most difficult part of the install was probably figuring out what to do with the Speedo connector. It needs to be considerably longer than it used to need to be. I basically just kind of changed up the harness a little bit and found some space to have enough wire to come out. This is one of those things too where I cleaned up that area as much as I could, but you never really know if you did a good job. You know, like the more of them you do, the better you get at hiding things and routing things and all that stuff. I did manage to, you know, taking the fairing off to pull the wires through and all that stuff, make sure it was all good to go. I don't really want to get off this bike. I just want to keep right on riding.